are excited to do our podcast today, and with special guests. We have Megan Laundrie and Jennifer Nagy here today from the American Cancer Society. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you.
Jennifer, please introduce yourself to everybody and a little bit of background with American Cancer Society.
Sure. I'm a strategic partnership manager with the American Cancer Society. Been with them for about over 24 years. And I'm also a cervical cancer survivor and a caretaker to my mom, who is a breast cancer survivor, and then my niece and nephew as well.
That's wonderful. That's great. And so how long have you been with the organization?
Over 20 years.
That's amazing. That's great. And you and I, we've known each other for a good few years.
We sure have. Sure have.
Developed a great relationship, and with Real Men, Real Pink, a great organization. It's been such an honor working with you guys. I know with my family and our family here at Affinity, all people going through cancer, we're really super passionate about this. And with Megan, please, we'd love to tell us a little introduction about yourself and background.
Sure. So I am the senior manager for our cancer support team here in Michigan. So Jen and I work together. I've been at ACS for almost 9 years, 8.5 years. And I also have been touched by cancer like most people. My dad had lung cancer. He was not a smoker, was a really healthy guy. And he passed away a couple of years ago. So he's my why. We all have our why.
Oh, that's amazing purpose. And that's so blessed to have you. And I saw a lot of people, I'm sure you touch in our community with that experience. We all have a purpose, right? And it's so important to do anything with a purpose. And that's what drives us and wakes us up every day, and jump out of bed.
Exactly.
Well, thank you for both of you spending time with us here on our podcast show. It's important to us to make sure that we deliver really good content and information for our individuals who are going through really hard times, so we can provide that right support. But today I wanted to talk about what are ways in which you feel in the senior community, because we are we specialize in seniors care, and how to prevent various forms of cancer. I guess Jennifer, you could go ahead and start, and then Megan.
Sure. So I think the important message that we really want to make sure seniors hear from us is, one, have a doctor, right? Have a physician that is knowledgeable to their information and their history, but also healthy eating, exercise, diet, looking at all those kinds of lifestyle changes that an individual can make at any age, really, and then making sure that they're looking at those avenues to prevent cancer.
Yeah. And like Megan, what's your insight about that? What kind of tips can you give us about preventing cancer forms? With the senior community?
Yeah, Jen touched on really summarized it, but I want to just stress the importance of having that relationship with a primary care doctor. So much of healthcare is individualized, and you have to talk to your doctor about what makes sense for you as far as, cancer screening and cancer prevention. Knowing your family history is also so important. If you've had cancer in your family, just to kind of take that into consideration as far as when to get screened, and also pass that knowledge on to the younger generations in your family.
Yeah, that's great. I was told that at a young age. I know with genetics and history, it's important to have a good relationship with your physician. Best thing probably we can do is catch anything early and be preventative about it, which could help us, and never be fearful of making that relationship and having a connection with your physician can save many, many years of your life, which I wish I had with my own family, and could save maybe giving us a lot more time together. What aspects are important for you, would you say, for people over 65 years old, would you say? What are important for people to know when they are going through cancer? Like, for example, I just give you one, like exercise and diet. Is this something that you guys promote in your organization?
Yeah, we talk a lot about nutrition and physical activity at any age, and also tobacco cessation at any age. Don't go out in the sun too long. Those are all really important ways, both for prevention and if you already have cancer. And if you are, going through cancer, it's still important to keep up with that physical activity as much as you can. It's going to be different for everybody, and nutrition. And we have guides on, how to eat healthy while you go through treatment, different recipes and things like that.
Yeah, and to second even what Megan just said, I think knowing that the American Cancer Society is a resource for you, and you can call us anytime to get information. So if you're even looking for information or tips on healthy eating or recipes, those are all available through the American Cancer Society that you can access for free. And so that's available anytime by calling us or getting on our website.
Yep. And so your website is
cancer.org.
Cancer.org. Yep. So I just wanted to make sure of that. So we'll make sure we'll add that to our show. You could be able to see that in the links that we provide. But self-care is really important, and having that connection with family and friends is so essential. And having full integrated wellness, right? Is really important. So I know that with American Cancer Society, if you go to your resource page, is that you guys provide so many resources for individuals to be able to reach out to, and a lot of them are free. They can go and they can call them and contact them or read and find out. A lot of the information is online. It's about taking action, I believe, and that's the hardest part is taking those actions. What would you say some key ways to support someone in the community facing cancer treatment?
So if I had to even elaborate on my own experience of when I was a survivor, and what was important to me was knowing that I had that family and friend base around me, but also knowing that I had the information and resources at my fingertips. So whether it is by calling the American Cancer Society or navigating their website, I was able to even identify with a cancer survivor that was not even in the area of my own home. But I was able to even connect with that individual across the nation, right? So like having those resources at your fingertips, I think is what's the most important.
Yeah. And Megan, what's your insight on that?
Yeah, I think.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Yeah, I think there's so many ways you can support somebody going through cancer as their friend or neighbor or family member. I think every person's going to be different. Some people like to be called a survivor, some people don't. So it's really having that personal conversation with the person diagnosed with cancer and asking, what kind of support do you need? Do you need me to drop off meals for you? Do you need me to drive you to your treatment? Do you want me to, give you the information and resources that I have? So I think it's having that conversation about what does it look like for each person.
Yeah. And you said transportation, that's one thing, right? And in home care, we deal with that. We see meals preparation, grocery, nutrition is going to be important. That just might be an ask for somebody that, listen, I'm fatigued, I'm tired, I can't get out of the house, it's very difficult. My spouse is working, I can't always get all the stuff, but you guys offer these support to be able to see, would you like us to help you get to point A and point B safely, or pick up some errands or do some errands for you. I know that you guys have tons of volunteers that are part of that organization, that, and then, it's kind of hand in hand, almost like you guys are a home care company too. We hire people that want to do the same thing for our individuals, care for them, help them move forward in their day. But it could be also another it could be a very cost effective way utilizing your resources, because there's some free volunteers out there that are willing to, put in their time.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, we're a volunteer driven organization. And so we need the volunteers, whether it's for transportation or for advocating at the state capitol with us on policy issues. So we need those people to be surrounding us.
Yes. Yep. So you're always actively looking for volunteers. So the support that I got into is about the spouse and the caregiver, so a caregiver, whether they hire them or a family member caregiver or the spouse, what are ways that you guys can support, a family member being the caregiver?
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked that, because I do feel like sometimes the caregiver gets forgotten in the cancer journey. ACS has resources for caregivers. We have a caregiver resource guide. We have videos on our website that are specifically targeted towards caregivers. And at all of our events, we try to highlight the caregivers and thank them, because they're walking through this journey too. But I also want to take a minute to also just recognize, people listening to this can also maybe reach out to the caregiver of the person who has cancer and just say, how can I support you? I know this is hard on you too, and really help that caregiver through this journey as well.
Caregiver burnout is real. We
Yes.
see it all the time. Our employees go through it. Our families go through it. Yeah,
Yes.
that's why they call. When it's good for everyone to resonate on this show, and everybody understands if you're the caretaker, just understand that when you put the role of a caregiver on, and it's a family member, check on them, because that's not an easy role. You actually are delegating their time that they're putting in their life, and also too is their mindset, their physical strength is utilized every single day. And so all of that, it can be, can cause someone to get caregiver burnout, which leads to depression, being irritable, losing activities of their life, and not actually withdrawing from individuals and for their friends and their family. And so it's a big role, it's a big responsibility, and everyone's individual based on what type of care someone needs. But sometimes it can be a heavy load, during these periods of time where they are seeing their loved one, going through this stage of their life where it's end of life too, or
Right.
they're just losing their independence. They're both heartbreaking, and it's hard. So it's like being a caretaker is, and offering support is just as important as providing the care for the person that needs it. Statistically, Alzheimer's, or actually organization, says that a caregiver can go faster than the actual person that has the condition.
Yeah. It's exhausting.
It's exhausting.
Yeah, even just to add though, Megan had mentioned the video series, and I think what's important about the video series is there is a whole component on self-care, right? So it's self-care of the individual, that caregiver, beyond being the caregiver to the patient, and learning the resources for the patient, whether it's drainage or side effects, or dealing with those kinds of obstacles or challenges. There really is a segment on self-care and health and healing for your own individual self.
It's important in everything. Mindset is important in anything we do in life, and especially if you're going to be the caretaker, and designated to be able to have that responsibility. You got to have a good support system and a good environment. And that helps with anything we do whatsoever. And taking care of yourself, you'll feel better when you take care of someone else. It's in general in anything. So, we just sometimes need a reminder, or put ourselves in an environment people actually make us feel that way, that's important.
Right.
And it's I think the worst part is to make someone feel that they're not important, to take care of themselves.
Yeah.
And this is all part of the process. And so another question I have is, so what are online? I know you mentioned your site, and like that's where the main. I'm assuming that's where the main source of where you direct everybody to is your website, right?
Yeah.
And you mentioned the website again, and the resources that are available on there. Are there hospitals? Are there senior centers? Are there activities that caregivers can go to help keep them active, especially with cancer? Because I'm assuming you have cancer, you don't want to be home all day.
Yeah, that's one of the things that Jen and I get to do, is work with our local hospitals. And so most of the hospitals have support groups. Now with COVID, everything looks so different. So I can't guarantee like every hospital has in-person support groups or in-person activities, but so many of them will do like cooking classes or yoga or exercise classes, really catered towards cancer survivors and caregivers. So it's really great that they can offer that.
Yeah.
Even just connecting, if you call the American Cancer Society and you're looking for those kinds of resources, that's what's available to you. So specifically Gilda's Club or the cancer support community, right in your backyard, right? You may not know that, but if you call us, we can connect you to them.
Yeah.
And support groups too? Is there also?
Absolutely.
I'm assuming there's a lot, right?
Yes. Yeah. Gilda's Club is really great, and cancer support community. They have support groups for every type of cancer. They have young adult support groups. They have caregiver support groups. So we refer out to those.
What's the landscape of that? Like they walk in and they're with like 10 individuals who are going through the same thing they do, and they can actually talk and communicate with each other.
And sometimes it might be virtual, like over Zoom or whatever, but Gilda's Club, I think, is getting back to meeting in person. And so, you just kind of walk in and you can share as much or as little as you want to. I've been part of support groups before, and you don't have to talk. You can just listen, or you can kind of go there to open up and get support from your peers.
That's great. That is really great. You don't have to walk through this process alone. Right. That's the main goal. I love that. And so if you had to recommend, what's the best supporting, uh, uh, I guess how to say is, how do you recommend best supporting someone who just got that diagnosis with cancer? Like, what's the first, the news was dropped, and how would you recommend right away for them to get that support?
Well, so I'll first say, first breathe, right? Just take a breath, right? And then know that you can call the American Cancer Study. I think that's the first thing I would say. Beyond working with your family and your friends and kind of having that conversation with them, I think reaching out to us to get information, to get treatment information, to understand their surgery, to understand treatment options, nutrition, you name it, it's all there for you. And so you're not alone in that process at all. You can get whatever you need when it comes to information from the American Cancer Society.
Yeah. Well, will you guys actually go out to the home?
No, we don't do that. We refer out to organizations that could, like we can give you resources for the organizations that do, but we have a 24/7 phone number that people can call. It's a national phone number. It's not just Michigan. So like at 3 a.m, if you have a question about your diagnosis or have a question about anything really related to cancer, you can call and a live person will answer the phone.
Are there any other resources that we should highlight that you have on your site to help? Right. So you said that's something that we heard is the 24/7 hotline. That's great.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that we should know?
The capability that we now offer chat capability, and you can sign up for an appointment to do something chat wise, knowing that the world has changed a little bit with COVID and that you might just want to have an interaction with a person, even if it's virtually, you have that capability. And so I think knowing that there's this resource out there that can guide you through your cancer treatment or preventative information. So if you even want to quit smoking, you can call the American Cancer Society and you can get information on quitting smoking.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually virtually talk to somebody too, if they like. Mm-hmm. They can virtually. Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah. In the comfort of their home.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's great. That's wonderful. Gosh, thank you so much for spending time with me today, guys. It's always a pleasure. I wanted to say that it's a pleasure another year that we'll be working with the Real Men Wear Pink campaign. And it's an honor for us here in our organization to be part of you guys and to be able to provide that support. And, we say in our office and it's kind of a motto, that, real men do wear pink, and this is because, when we support our women who are going through this, it's important for them to understand that they don't need to stand alone when they're going through this process, and it's not easy, and there's lots of survivors. I've had employees myself who've had it and survived, and great stories about that. And, we love to see that, but we also see where sometimes it can be, negative impact where not, it becomes end of life, but at the same time, we're with them throughout that. And we're walking through their life and actually, making them feel comfortable and safe in their home and as well too. So, like I said, thank you so much for being part of this. And I hope that if anybody has questions or going through something that has to do with breast cancer whatsoever, they reach out to Megan and Jennifer. They're always available in our community. They're huge advocates to be able to, and they're always there and available.
Thank you, Chris, for what you do as well. I mean, on behalf of the 16 million cancer survivors that are out there, you are making a huge impact with us. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Take care, and we'll talk to you all soon.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.